Hello and welcome back to Never Seen It. My name is Trent. I'm here with my wife, Betsy.
Hello!
Hey, Betsy. We are continuing on with our Hacker series on these Sundays in May. And today we're going to do a stone cold classic Hackers movie because, good God, when I looked up Hacker movie categories, this is at the top of everybody's list. So, Betsy, today we're going to watch Sneakers. And much to the surprise of Betsy, it's not about shoes.
I genuinely, when you were like, okay, we're going to do this Hackers series and this is going to be on the list, I'm like, what the fuck is Sneakers? Looking at the cover, like the poster for this movie, looking at who is in it, looking at the time this came out and the kind of movies he was known for.
Yep.
Why in the world would Robert Redford be in a movie about hacking?
This does not make any sense.
No. So when I see Sneakers, I'm like, it must be about shoes or basketball or an inspirational sports story. And then you're like, no, it's a hacker movie. It's like, the fuck it is.
I mean, the new Ben Affleck movie, Air, probably would have been a better title for that movie, probably would have been Sneakers
and
instead of Air.
It's been over 30 years. You sure could have used it.
I mean, there's really no copyright for movie titles. There have been plenty of movies called the same thing, and they're about different things.
As long as we put...
Song titles, everything.
As long as we put the year behind it when we're posting these episodes,
Exactly.
it helps. But yes, I genuinely have almost no knowledge of this movie. Like, I don't even know if this is one that I knew existed. I don't know anybody who's seen this. So again, when you're like looking up what other things could we include in this series, I was very surprised.
Now, I have heard this movie is pretty damn good. For what it is, just through other people talking about movies, they always bring up Sneakers. I don't know why, because they never elaborate on that. But the thing I do know about this movie is that the cast is packed. Like, a bunch of big names that you are absolutely going to know.
And off the top of my head, I sure don't know them.
Yeah, and I'm not going to reveal anything here because I could be wrong about some of them that I think are in here. But as far as, like, the basic plot of the movie that I know of, like, think about the concept of hackers. In the hacking world, there is what you call a black hat hacker and a white hat hacker. A black hat are bad guys, and white hat are good guys, which is to say, I believe Robert Redford leads a company that is a security company that is a group of white hat hackers who try to test out, like, companies' security systems.
Find the flaws.
Find the flaws, report it, and they get paid money for finding the flaws. Black hat hackers are the ones trying to get in and trying to get around the security stuff and steal shit.
Okay, so when you usually think
sabotage.
of a hacker, that's who you think
Yeah,
of.
there are a bunch of people who are trying to sabotage or steal stuff.
Okay.
So I think that's what this is, but, like, besides that, I don't know anything else about it.
All right, then. That's more than I knew 5 minutes ago.
Right, and again, I've been wanting to watch this forever just because, well, number one, it's really hard to get. We had to get a disc from Netflix. You know how Netflix still does discs
for the
another
10 minutes that they'll still be doing that.
For another few months. I guess they're going to be done in September, I think. So if you want to get a disc from Netflix, now is the time, guys. So anyway, that's all I really know for this intro. So we're going to go watch Sneakers. We'll be right back. We're back from watching Sneakers. Betsy, what do you think?
It was fine. Like, honestly, I don't really have much more to say than it was fine. And maybe that's a product of it being 30 years old. At the time, I would think this was probably considered pretty cool. Watching it now, I feel like, number one, it's not so much a hackers movie as a, like, spy heist movie. Like,
Okay.
yes, there's a lot of computer elements to it, and the main, MacGuffin, if you will, has to do with that. But there's something weird about having a bunch of Academy Award winners and nominees who are middle-aged playing, like, the cool hackers.
Yeah, I get that.
And when I'm watching it and literally going, is this about to happen? Is this about to happen? Is this about to happen? Then it's not as fun for me. Like, I don't think it's this movie's fault that it's predictable. I've just seen too many movies.
All right.
How did you feel about it?
I thought it was pretty good. Like, again, I know, yes, there are some predictable things about it, but this is some, like, old school analog hacking. Now, when I went to college, I never finished college, but I was gonna go in for, the major was called Computer Information Systems. So I'm a little bit familiar with some of these terms and a lot of the things that they're covering here, along with the concepts of social engineering. Now, that's really what the hacking is. Like, there is a little bit of computer hacking here, but they're just kind of let into the doorway, so to speak, by using this box. Like, they're able to get beyond encryptions and whatever else based on 1992 technology, of course.
It's all access. It's all about access.
Social engineering, which is what they were doing to try to get into this guy's office and try to, like, get behind the locked door. It's not, you're not busting in, you're not hacking in, but you are hacking a person is what you're doing. That's social engineering.
Yeah, it's a sociology trick, a psychology trick, not
right, and
not an actual computer trick.
And a lot of that stuff was taught to us back in computer school, whatever you want to call it, and it was mainly a way for you to not be susceptible to it, because if you work in a situation like this where you have access to a lot of information, you're in control of securing said information or systems, you should know the techniques on what other people would try to do to you.
Do you know how many training videos I've had to watch about social engineering?
Oh, yeah.
And email phishing and scamming.
Yes.
And that is all it is. They are designed to play with your humanity to get you to do what they want you to do.
Corporations have finally caught on in the past decade that, you know what, this stuff is like very clever in trying to get you to click on a thing or think that it's coming from a certain place. And you really shouldn't have to, like, have a degree in computer security in order to not click on things that you get in an email from people you don't know.
Right, but there's also a lot of people still in the workforce who were not born and raised on computers. Like, our generation is the first one, I would say, that is less likely to click, but even we're susceptible.
Yeah, like, I remember back when we all started to work from home during lockdown in 2020, and there were a lot of people still working on, like, personal computers because we didn't have all of the good VPN stuff installed yet. We weren't all on company laptops and stuff like that.
They hadn't invested in the equipment.
Exactly. So, like, we had some situations where people were, like, sending around viruses. People were sending around like mass emails that would not stop.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, that went on probably 2 or 3 times in the first 3 months. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, a lot of people just do not get it. But that's my point here. The movie is less about the hacking that we were talking about when we started this thing. It's more, hey, these are really smart guys. They know how to get around systems. And really, I think the movie is more of a spy movie than anything else.
Like I said, yeah, it's a lot of observing people and observing human behavior.
Surveillance.
And then doing the digging for the data you need to further manipulate them.
Yeah, and like when they're spying on the Donald Logue character, we'll get to the people in this here later, but when they're spying on the Donald Logue guy in his office, they're literally just looking at his keyboard to see what his password is. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, they could just, probably access his computer. I feel like they're smart enough to figure that out.
Yeah, but that takes too much time.
But why would we do that? We'll just watch his fingers.
We can just get right in.
Yeah, there's a lot of that. I also feel like watching this movie, you said spy movie. I have a suspicion that the people who wrote the 1996 Mission Impossible have seen Sneakers.
Oh, yes.
Because there's one scene in particular, even though, Trent, you have never seen the original Mission Impossible.
I haven't seen it all the way through. I know enough about it, but whatever.
But you know there's a specific scene that most people know, and it involves coming in through the ceiling into a room full of motion sensors that is also heat sensitive to steal an item.
Yep.
But yes, I found some similarities there, making me go, well, this is just a spy movie. And then there's also a scene where, like, River Phoenix is riding an elevator. That is also in Mission Impossible.
Yeah.
Somebody rides an elevator and they're crawling through a lot of air ducts, and it's a lot of misdirection and people having little earpieces and talking to each other.
And that's a lot of, like, I've only ever seen the second Mission Impossible movie, and that's what, like, fucking Ving Rhames and the other guy in the van are doing in Mission Impossible 2. And along with another spy series, the Ben Kingsley villain character is very much a fucking Bond villain.
He is.
He's the guy who was dead. Everybody thought he was dead. He comes back. He turns out that he's fucking crazy, and he wants to change the world.
He's now working with the enemy, but he also has this moralistic viewpoint where they're not entirely wrong. So, of course, his whole thing is, who has the data and what are they going to do with that data? And it's safer in my hands than in the wrong people's hands.
Yeah, and when we're introduced to these two characters back in the late 60s, they're a couple of hippies. Like, they don't want, like, we're conservative Republicans to get anything, so they're going to hack them, take all their money, and give it to a bunch of liberal causes, which is what the joke is at the very end of the movie, of course.
Yeah, they take Richard Nixon's money, and he makes a donation.
And, they're these idealistic guys who think that, okay, with our power, with our knowledge, we're going to be able to change the world. And he's held on to it through his experience of going to prison and being helped out by the mafia.
Yeah, that whole storyline through there was a little loosey-goosey, and I didn't quite follow exactly how he got from point A to point B to I'm the villain now.
Think about where Andy Dufresne ends up working for the warden and doing his dirty work. And, you know, he's a good guy who's doing a bad thing for a bad man. But the opposite of that happens in this movie, where it's as if Andy Dufresne is working for the warden and he wants to. And the warden ends up taking him under his wing and getting him in and cutting him in on the deals. And and he helps him get out of prison. That's what happens here.
Yes, but how does he end up in this position where he seems to be the boss? He's the guy in charge of this secret corporation? Question mark?
Yeah, and much like, I mean, the whole mafia has a whole bunch of fronts in a lot of different places.
I guess.
Maybe a toy company is one of them. Who knows?
I guess, but it was just a little bit of a stretch. And of course, you know,
I agree.
The guy who is dead isn't really dead. And okay, if I have a problem with this movie, honestly, and this is, again, me being really nitpicky, what the fuck was Ben Kingsley's accent? Was he Southern? Was he from New York? Was he British? Because he was kind of all those things.
Okay, and I don't know if you've seen a lot of Ben Kingsley movies. I haven't.
I have seen a few. Usually, you know, he's playing Ben Kingsley now. But, like, if you've seen in Iron Man, he's doing this over-the-top Mandarin voice. And then he is a British guy as the other character in his real character.
Right, and I get that. And I think he's putting on this accent. I don't know what his real accent is.
Ben Kingsley's very British.
Okay.
So he's not an American, and he's clearly playing American. But that's the thing is, I've heard him do American, and it doesn't sound this bad.
I agree with you that his accent was all over the place. That was bad.
Genuinely, it's not at all relevant to the plot. It has nothing to do with anything. It just bothered me.
Well, as long as we're talking about the characters here, let's run the gamut here, because like I said in the intro, this cast is fucking packed.
These are some heavy hitters for 1992. Obviously, we said Robert Redford.
We knew about that. We have Sidney Poitier, another Oscar winner, which I just feel like, I mean, the casting director was hitting above their weight to land fucking Sidney Poitier for this kind of role. I don't think he fits very well as, I mean, maybe as a former CIA agent, but still, I just don't know how he fits.
He also, maybe they just cast him so he would say motherfucker.
Maybe.
So he's there. You also have River Phoenix, who was at this point star on the rise. This is a year before he died.
Yeah.
And he is so misused in this movie.
I read something in the trivia stuff where he took this role because he wanted something simple. He wanted an easy payday after he did the My Own Private Idaho.
Right, but he was this star on the rise, with all of these other guys who were established big names.
Right.
And they were kind of putting him in his place.
Yeah, like all of these other guys are like old, number one, and like way experienced. Like this kid, I don't know where he fits in with these guys at all. I don't even know what his like expertise is.
He's just also there. This was something. Well, let's get through the rest of the list. So you've also got Dan Aykroyd,
Yep.
David Strathairn, who at this time I don't think was very famous. So he was kind of not on the rise, but a working actor, just maybe not really well known.
He's still very not well known.
Maybe not in mass circles. He is beloved in this household.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. I literally just watched a movie with him this morning.
Then you've got Mary McDonnell, who was again a big deal in the 90s.
Yeah, but only in the 90s.
And at the end of the movie, fucking James Earl Jones shows up.
Yeah, that was a surprise.
Then for random people along the way, Bodie Elfman, who only you and I would probably notice or care about, because that's just one of those like dudes from the 90s.
He's the security guard at the bank at the beginning.
And Donald Logue in his first movie role.
Yeah.
He is one of those great supporting actors who is kind of an unsung hero. And I think more people should pay attention to him because I think he's great.
He also kind of just went away in the past like decade. He had his TV show on Fox. He had a bunch of like supporting roles in movies.
I mean, he was in a lot of things. He was in Little Women in the 90s. He was in The Patriot. He was in Blade. You fucking love him in Blade.
That's right.
So he's just one of those guys that's like really solid that you always go, hey, it's that guy, but you probably have no idea what his name is. He's just a great supporting actor. But anyway, I'm on this tangent of actors. So they all play these established dudes in this crew. Let's call them that.
They all have like their stupid hacker nicknames, kind of.
You've got Kreese, Mother, Whistler,
Yeah.
and Carl.
You know, Carl.
So this is why I'm saying River Phoenix is like a weird character here because he's new to the group. And he hasn't gotten a cool nickname yet, so we don't actually know what his skill set is.
Yeah.
He's the dude that just has to be a body to distract other people.
He's the intern.
Basically, because like he goes and he has a delivery and he's pretending to be a delivery guy to distract the guy at the front desk.
Yeah.
He pretends to be a gardener to distract the security guard.
Yeah, and he's small and skinny enough where he can get up into like the ventilation ducts and things like that.
Yeah, he's just another body to do the grunt work. So you're right. He's an intern.
He goes to get the sandwiches.
He's an unpaid intern, which is why all he wants at the end of the movie
He wants a girlfriend.
Is a girlfriend.
And we haven't talked about Dan Aykroyd all that much. You mentioned his name, but he is his most Dan Aykroyd self here because he is a crazy conspiracy theorist in this movie and in real life.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah, Betsy.
I haven't really paid that much attention to what he's been up to lately, but somehow that doesn't surprise me.
Dude is way out there, and I'm surprised that he was even invited back to do some of those Ghostbusters like reunion things or like cameos in those movies. Like he has, wow.
He is committed to that lifestyle.
Yeah.
Cool. And then Sidney Poitier, who is ex-CIA, who apparently left the CIA because he had an anger problem.
Well, and we don't find out until the very end. It's this big mystery.
And then Whistler is a blind guy who's really good at audio. And so
really, really good. Maybe like a little bit too good.
It just felt like his whole character. Like, I love David Strathairn. And I even liked him in this movie. It just felt really cliche.
He's the magic blind man.
Yeah, he's the mystical magic man who's just like guiding people. Like, what did you hear?
Right.
No, listen. What did you hear? Remember. What did you hear? Like, the number of times in that scene, he just kept saying, what did you hear?
Yeah.
To guide him along his journey.
And like he has this magic thing where he can create road sounds with this magic box.
Yeah.
It's very out there. It is. I agree. It's not all that great. But I still think on the whole, it is a good movie overall. Because there's a satisfying ending. There's a lot of weird espionage. I love a good espionage movie, even with a bunch of fucking fuck-ups like these guys. And the thing that is weird to me, for the time anyway, in 92, you think of a hacker. You maybe think of these guys who were coming up in the 60s. Like, think about like Steve Wozniak and Steve Jobs, these guys who created computer companies and became millionaires. But there's a bunch of other people who are just into this stuff and created whatever career after that.
So yeah, to take it back to when we watched Swordfish, my problem with that was that movie was trying so hard to be cool, and this movie isn't trying to be cool.
Not at all.
But you're right. Realistically, hackers, people like this, are middle-aged dudes who are really boring. They're not going to be cool. That's not how it is. It wasn't until like the mid-late 90s that you got this image of a hacker.
Yeah, mid to late 90s into the 2000s where the young hackers really started to become in the zeitgeist of this is what you think about when you think of hackers.
Oh, they're so cool.
Yeah.
The Matrix.
Yeah, and for the purposes of this movie, I understand why you had to have a guy like Robert Redford, because number one, Robert Redford is a fucking, like, left-wing pinko guy who wants nothing else than to stick it to Republicans and whatever else. There's even a dig at George Bush. Like, there were fucking campaign posters in this area where they had their office.
1992.
92 was the fucking election year where Clinton won, and he says, yeah, blame that guy for him taking your house away or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, he didn't write this movie or direct this movie, but it feels like he could have.
I'm sure he had something to do with just the production. I didn't see a production credit here, but I'm sure he had something to do with it.
Right.
Or it was part of his writer in his contract saying, I need to be able to shit on some Republicans. Let me do this.
Let's just change this dialogue just a smidge. Just a little bit.
But yeah, I understand why you had to have these hippie guys come in, and it makes sense for the heel turn, as it were, with the Ben Kingsley guy. And yeah, I understand what they're trying to do here, but the feeling of a hacker movie isn't all the way there.
No, definitely not.
All right, so I guess that's all the thoughts we had about the actors. Let's talk about some moments in the movie here. Let's start off with the beginning sequence of them. What looks like they're trying to rob a bank or access something in a bank. And what I said in the intro is correct. They have this company where they test out the security for sensitive companies, let's say.
Yeah.
A bank is definitely one of those.
Yeah, they basically rob the bank, but then he marches right up to their office and hands them the money back and says, here's your problems.
Yeah, they are hired by the bank to test their security and see what is wrong. And they go through the entire rigmarole. They have the surveillance van outside. They have reconnaissance prior to this. They rigged up something in a safe deposit box to have like a smoke thing go off and have the alarm go off.
They divert the phone calls. They have access to the cameras.
Right, and like this kid who's the security guard calls somebody, who the hell knows who he calls, maybe the bank manager or something.
He called David Strathern, though, is who he called.
Well, yeah, he says, okay, well, yeah, you can go ahead and just wait until the alarm stops. We have control over the alarms, of course, and blah, blah, blah. They're just, again, it's social engineering and telling somebody what's going to happen, and then it happens, so they're okay with it.
And, of course, that kid is clearly just the paid body who has no idea what to do and starts flipping like a maniac through the guidebook. Like, what do I do? What do I do? Nothing's ever actually happened.
Right. And like, I don't know if this is really believable to me. Like, why would you have this snot-nosed kid as a security guard at a bank?
Because it's overnight and you figure what's actually going to happen. Or it's part of it, like, we know what we're doing right now. Maybe we need to evaluate this kid as a guard.
I don't know, but I feel like, you know, banks are insured for up deposits for up to whatever. And if the bank fails or if the bank gets robbed, I know there's some kind of government backstop to that stuff. And, you know, there's security on the vault and whatever else. So I that right there bothered me. That you would have this kid as a security guard. Come on.
Whatever.
Especially by himself.
Well, and this is where we kind of start introducing the concept that this movie is also supposed to be kind of funny because they're all running in and Robert Redford biffs it jumping over the counter.
Right.
And he goes, oh, I'm getting too old for this.
Too old for this shit.
Yeah. So it's like, ha. Like, it's not like funny. It's just sort of
There are some moments here, we're going to get to that stuff, but yeah, there are definitely some moments here where I feel like different casting would have made it a better movie and a more funny movie. I just don't know who else you would have cast.
Or just the tone. Like, the tone is, you're trying to be a comedy, you're trying to be a drama, you're trying to be an espionage,
think about
save the world kind of movie.
The tone, the very beginning, the soundtrack, the score on it is like classical jazz music. It's weird.
Very early 90s. Like,
yeah.
It's like, it's when everybody was really into Kenny G.
I guess.
It's that kind of music.
But you didn't score it in a way that signaled that it would be a comedy. Like, this is some, like, spy shit.
Yeah, and then they accomplish their mission, and then two guys show up in the office to give them a new job.
Yeah.
And they're supposedly from the NSA, but of course, we don't get all of the details that they probably should have asked for. So, of course, when they manage to finish the job and get this black box...
Yeah, Robert Redford does this on his own. I guess he's the leader.
Yep.
And he does this on his own without consulting with his partners, without checking these guys out to make sure that they are legit. Yeah. All they did was show one badge.
He takes it at face value, and when he meets up with them in a building that he is told, oh, well, this is where the offices are, he believes it.
And they even, well, I think the thing that really puts him over the edge is they know his real name.
They know who he is because they do have government ties and computer ties, and they give him enough to believe them, basically.
Yeah, like one of the guys used to work for the NSA, so maybe he has some connections. But still, it would make sense that he would believe them, but the fact that he hid what was going on here and he met with them by himself both times is not very smart.
Well, it wasn't exactly a secret. They came to the office and River Phoenix is like, we got company and clients and put on your nice shoes.
But he still met with them in secret. Or not in secret, but he met with them in private
alone
in the conference room by himself. You would think that you would want to have other people involved.
But yeah, this is again just more social engineering because it's all a big con. And when he delivers the goods, they figure out at the same moment, oh, the mathematician who is a cryptographer who is hacking the world's computers or whatever, he has hacked the unhackable. He's been murdered. And these guys did it. Like, they figure this all...
It was also happening off screen, too.
And it all happens at the same time. That's the kind of stuff that's really just annoying to me, where I am kind of figuring it out just a second before they're telling everybody what's going on. And yeah, he is about to get killed by these guys to hide the evidence, but he gets away. But they've got the box, and now they have no bargaining chip. Mm-hmm. And so then it turns into a different kind of movie because now they're trying to figure out, okay, who were those guys and what's going on? The person he turns to is the only government guy he knows, and it's a Russian attaché.
Yeah.
So this is the other thing that's really spread throughout this movie is the post-Cold War spying mentality.
Yeah, it's only been a few years since the fall of the Soviet Union, and the guy that he meets at the beginning of the movie, he even says, yeah, it's been kind of crazy these past few years. Nobody really knows what they're doing, so I guess I'm just doing what I'm doing now.
He keeps getting new job titles because they're like, governments to run, don't know who to put in charge of things.
Right, and he even says something about Kiev, and I assume maybe he's actually from Ukraine.
Which, that was another thing that's interesting is the places that they're name-checking, like Czechoslovakia. It's like, the dust had not settled there yet.
So former Soviets,
And it used to be Czechoslovakia. Now it's two separate countries altogether.
Yes.
So this is all before any of that had happened.
Sure. But yeah, you're right. There's all sorts of different happenings, and you're never supposed to trust the Russians and blah, blah, blah. You think it's a misdirection. You think that this guy is going to, turn on him, or he's actually responsible. He's the one after the box. But in reality, it's this other group that he doesn't even know about.
And then the FBI comes, but he's not really FBI, but he is the FBI, but he's... I didn't get what was happening half the time.
Everybody has fake badges.
You can't trust anybody in this movie, and I understand that's the point. but I like to know what the hell I'm doing.
Yeah, and right before he gets kidnapped, they fucking shoot the Russian guy.
With his gun.
And his driver with his gun, and they throw him in a trunk, and it's one of the best act breaks I've ever seen.
It's just like cut to black.
Yeah.
And now we're riding in the
Literally,
trunk of a car.
we have a few seconds of just blackness because he's in a trunk, he's riding around, and we're also supposed to hear, Betsy. We're supposed to listen.
Oh. Yeah, it's where the movie gets a little bit too far-fetched.
Yeah.
Like the fact that you are able to locate where you were taken in the trunk of a car.
Yeah.
Because you listened.
Yeah, that's way too out there. And I do understand the concept of, okay, retrace your steps. What kind of things were you hearing? What kind of things were you not hearing? Do you think you went over a bridge? Because you know what a bridge sounds like. There's different gaps in where the concrete is so that the thing can expand and contract because there isn't anything underneath it. I get that. But they also spent a lot of time on that. This movie is 2 hours and 15 minutes long. It felt like almost 3 hours at times.
At different times. And there's just a lot of these aha moments throughout it.
Yeah.
Like before this, after they managed to get the box from the mathematician, they're having this big party, and Whistler starts playing around with it.
Yeah.
And there's words on the inside, and they're playing Scrabble, and it's like, what was that? This doesn't mean anything. It's an anagram. And they start futzing around with Scrabble tiles trying to figure out what it could mean.
Well, and we even had it at the very beginning of the movie with the credit scene, the opening credits scene, all of the titles and all of the names were anagrams of other things, and it unscrambles into the name. So we should have thought there was going to be some kind of anagram later in the movie, and here it is.
But it's the moment, like, when the scientists have been failing and suddenly someone says something mundane, and they all have this magical realization simultaneously.
Oh, yeah.
So that was this scene.
That's pretty cheesy.
Robert Redford is, like, fiddling with Scrabble tiles trying to figure out what the words mean that are inscribed on the inside of the box. And meanwhile, David Strathairn is like, oh, click that button and click this and let's see what that is. And
again, the magical blind man.
Yeah, and he's got like a keyboard for blind people that is translating what's on the screen. And that's cool. I like that they included this kind of technology.
Yeah.
But it's just so extra, and everybody gets to the same conclusion at the same time. Too many secrets. Oh, we've hacked it, and we can get into any network, anywhere, anytime.
Yeah. It's this, like, universal decryptor, which, I mean, for 1992 is a fascinating concept because encryption back then was nothing. Like, you could, like, forcefully decrypt something with the amount of power that your cell phone has right now. It would do that in a second. But the encryption now is just miles and miles and miles better. In 92, you didn't have any of that stuff, so nobody really thought that hard about it. And sure, the American encryption system would have been different than the Russians, would have been different than the English and whoever else was out there. So to have this universal decryptor, I should say, available to whoever wants it is a fascinating thing.
No, I will tell you, when he starts busting into these different websites that he should not be able to get into.
It's not websites.
Well,
it
okay.
is the interface.
The Fed? Do you want to get into the
Federal,
Fed?
Yeah, the Federal Reserve, the National Power Grid, and like the National Air Traffic Control Service, which, I mean, hey, he was getting kind of a fucking like boner for all, like, getting into all this stuff. It's like, hey, you want to crash a couple of commercial jets? Dude.
Yeah, this scene was kind of heavy. Like the fact that they just suddenly had access to these things. Like that's a scary concept. And they didn't even know that that's what they had.
Right.
So
until they started futzing with it.
But he keeps making the same joke. Anyone want to turn off the power?
Right.
Anyone want to crash a plane? Anyone want $1 million? Like, stop. Stop.
Yeah.
This is freaking me out, and you're just like playing it off because it's funny. It's not funny.
Yeah, and like it took them until then to really realize what they were into here.
And why was the drop overnight? Why did they have to make it the next morning? If you're getting a piece of equipment like that, wouldn't you like exchange hands with that immediately?
It's for a movie.
Whatever. But yeah, of course, nobody is who they say they are. And everybody the bad guys get the machine, and now we have to figure out who kidnapped him, and the big reveal that Ben Kingsley is in fact alive.
Mm-hmm. He comes out of the shadows.
Yeah, and he gives
literally
his big speech about we were going to change the world, you and I. Yeah. And, he's reminded that it started as a prank. Like, what we used to do is for fun, and now you have taken it so far.
Yeah, and again, like, we're going back and forth here about, like, the movie itself, and I think it wants to be a spy movie, it wants to be a hackers movie, it wants to be
a 90s comedy,
a vigilante movie, a comedy. It wants to be all these things at the same time with these big name actors, and I don't really have any idea how this movie was received back in the 90s when it was new. I didn't see any awards it got nominated for. I don't really have any idea other than what I've heard from other people who watched the movie. Now, me sitting here today watching it for the first time, I don't really think they really pulled it off altogether. I enjoyed myself. There were some really good moments. I think they were just too big for their britches, so to speak.
I think they were just trying to do a lot of things, and some of them worked and some of them didn't. So a moment that I liked that worked is when they were doing the break-in to get into Donald Logue's office to steal the box.
Yes.
And he has a numbered keypad, and he is in his little earpiece saying, how do I get around this?
Yeah, and we're not hearing the other end of the conversation.
No, the guys in the van have, like, this notebook, and it's like, oh, we'll try this.
Yeah, like, look, we're assuming that he's looking at, like, an old CIA handbook on how to get into this thing.
Push the buttons, do it this way, and he's just going, okay. Got it.
Yep.
And he does the exact opposite. He kicks the door in.
Yeah. It's hacking.
Yeah. Okay, that was funny. And then he is promptly found out by the woman that Donald Logue is fucking.
Right.
And he has to feed her a story, but he is not quick enough on his feet because that's not the kind of guy he is. He's not a suave con man.
Yeah.
He's just listening to what the dudes in the van are telling him to say. And so he's like, I'm a private investigator. And he's looking around and licking his lips and trying to pause and stall for time.
And, like, I'm here on behalf of Mrs. Donald Logue person, and she says, well, there isn't a Mrs. That's what you think. She's in Tahiti with all of the other people who want to go to Tahiti.
Yeah, so it's just, she's not there, and she hired me, and she wants you to help her. So it's just this kind of weird scene where they're trying to be funny.
It should have been more funny, and it would have been funny with a different actor, I think.
Maybe. He's charming, but because this character, I should say, is not...
Yeah.
He's just a big computer geek. He needs everybody else on this team to help him.
That's the thing, though. It's Robert Redford. He is a charming guy. He is a handsome guy.
But his character isn't.
He doesn't evoke a nerd to me. It needed to be a funny nerd.
Yeah, this is a guy who, we don't know the relationship, but he wasn't able to stick together with Mary McDonnell's character.
Yeah, we have no idea what happened there.
And she's just like, when she shows up, we're not getting back together. We're not getting back together. We're not getting back together. And he's clearly bad at that part of his life.
Sure. And that could have been anything. And they're not back together by the end of the movie.
No, but you understand, like, an element of his character because
I get it.
He's bad at being a human being, I suppose.
Maybe.
That would be where you can take it. Was there a scene that you liked?
There were some elements here that I really appreciated. It was mainly near the end of the movie where Ben Kingsley is, like, revealing his evil plot. And he's saying there's a war going on, and it's not going to be fought with bullets, and it's just all about information. It's the ones and zeros and everything else. And that's very true. Like, 30 plus years later, we are fighting digital wars.
It's the new Cold War.
Yes, and that's exactly what's happening today. So they had it right there. And along with the James Earl Jones character at the very end of the movie, which we've barely talked about because he's only in one scene, they're talking about the fact that the reason why the NSA wants this box is because these intelligence agencies back in the 90s did not talk to each other. They didn't even get along with each other.
They were not unified in any way.
No, they were, like, in active competition with each other on a lot of different things. They didn't share anything. They almost, like, hated each other to a point.
And they specifically say that all of the different countries use their own encryption systems, so this wouldn't even work for international use. It's only good for spying on each other.
Exactly. So Russia got it. Yeah, you can look at American stuff, and that's it. So the idea that they bring this up, and it wasn't until after 9/11 when they created the Homeland Security Agency where they forced everybody, like, push them all together. It's like, okay, you guys, you gotta start getting along with each other because you guys fucked this up for everybody.
The t-shirt is their get along shirt.
Yeah.
The Homeland Security is their get along shirt where you all get under the same umbrella until you learn to play nice.
That's right. And I mean, to this day, I mean, I'm sure it's still a struggle in a lot of different ways. And one of the reasons why we have so many issues with like classified information getting out is because there's too many people with security clearances these days. So yeah, that's one of the casualties of them all sharing information. It's less locked down. But yeah, that's a completely different tangent.
But you can tell that the people who made this movie understand that concept and where technology was going and where it was going to take us in 20, 30 years.
And you didn't see any mention of like the internet
nope.
at all.
Nope, we didn't talk about networks or internet, anything like that.
Yeah. And I think that's the real difference here. To take it back to the whole hacking thing, that's the difference between this movie and a lot of the other movies we're covering here, and what you think about when you think about a hacker or a hacker movie or hacker culture. Like, this is like low-tech hacking.
This is what the government is doing at this time, in 1992.
This is what governments are able to do back in 92.
Yeah, it wasn't some dude in his mom's basement drinking too many Red Bulls.
Right.
You know, getting into places he doesn't belong.
or Hugh Jackman drinking too many Red Bulls.
Oh, Lord. I don't want to talk more about Swordfish. No. No, I like this better than Swordfish.
You're right. Yes, agreed. All right, Betsy, did you have any other thoughts before we get to our ending?
Why exactly when James Earl Jones shows up, and we didn't know he was going to be in this movie,
not at all,
that it suddenly becomes the fucking Wizard of Oz giving out gifts to everybody?
Or Armageddon, where all the guys are asking for their shit.
I want a Winnebago, and I've never taken my wife to Europe.
Or the Italian Job, the 2003 Italian Job.
It's just them listing their demands before they, give over this thing that they currently are in possession of.
Yep. It's all of that.
It's just like, I would like her number. I would like world peace and happiness for everyone. It's like, what the fuck is this? It was just a weird way to end the movie.
Yeah.
Like, they want to be rewarded for their efforts, and I understand that. But I don't know. It just felt very strange.
I mean, also when they're supposedly going to get paid by the NSA, this $180,000,
whatever that was,
$170,000, you cut that out between however many different people. It's not that much money.
In 92, it was a lot more money.
They're fucking celebrating like they won the lottery. It's like a year's salary, maybe, for some of them.
Maybe.
So, anyway.
Some of them used to work for the government, Trent. They didn't have big checks.
Fuck, I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to end this thing. If you would like to tell us what your thoughts are about Sneakers or any of the other movies we've covered for our Hacker series, our email address is neverseenitpod@gmail.com. Because we are recording this in the future, or in the past, however your perspective is. No emails today because, again, we have to record these in advance, so we're out of emails for now. But we still want to hear from you. Go to our social media pages, follow us, tell us what you think about all the stuff we've been covering. Give us suggestions about what we're going to do in June. Like, shit, we have no idea what we're going to do yet.
The lineup has not been set. Now is your opportunity.
Literally, the entire slate is clean. So give us some suggestions. I don't even know if we want to do a series in June. So yeah, just throw us some ideas. We'll watch it if we like it. Anyway, if you would like to support the show, go to the show notes of the episode, click the first link there. It'll take you to a page on Spotify where you can throw us $1 per month to help support the show and help us, I don't know, hack everything.
We're not hackers.
No, we're really not.
But if you want us to learn, I guess we could learn.
I've had people say, you're a hacker because you like to go to the command line and do a bunch of stuff in there. It's like, no, I just know how to use it, and I can do some things for quicker over there. It's
you can
weird.
Do basic computer crap. It's not that exciting.
I learned computers under DOS and Windows 3.1. Come on. I'm old. Get over it. Anyway, support the show. We would also love it if you were to go to your podcast app and rate us 5 stars wherever you are listening to this now. Spotify, iTunes, Stitcher, any of that shit. I know you got it in your hand. You're staring right at it. You're going to skip to the end so it'll stop showing us as a brand new episode.
Hover over that star and click 5.
5 stars. It's free. You don't have to pay us anything if you don't want to. Just click the 5-star thing. But that all being said, we have one more hacker movie coming up, and I hope you know what it is because, goddammit, it is finally on Amazon Prime. We're going to watch it very soon.
What's missing from this series, guys?
What's missing from this Hackers series? What could it be?
What could it be?
All right, Betsy, I want to thank you for being my co-host yet again today and for all of my days yet to come.
Hooray!
Hooray for marriage. But this is another episode of Never Seen It in the Can. My name is Trent.
My name's Betsy.
And we'll see you next time.
Bye, guys.